We've built ourselves some planes. Now we need to build ourselves some trains. Hey everyone, and welcome to Groove Builders, the show where we create together. I'm your host, Disorderlycone, and in this episode, we're going to be building the Polar Steel SE from our friends over at Metal Time. And you might be saying to yourself, didn't that model, wasn't it a lot bigger before? And you're right, that there is a model that's actually called the Polar Steel that Metal Time offers. It's a lot bigger with some really cool electronics in it. This one is the smaller version of it with only 19 pieces. This model looks very interesting. There's some unique shapings that we're going to have to get with the body of our train, as well as the undercarriage there seems to be put together in a unique way. How will this all go together? What are the tricky bits? And what tools are you going to need to build a train? These are all great questions, and we're going to get the answers. Let's get down to the workbench and open up our package. And just like that, we begin building the Polar Steel SE from Metal Time. Yeah, I kind of lost the footage of me cutting out all the pieces, and I could have sat here and kind of beatboxed some things, but I feel like that wouldn't have been as entertaining as just skipping to this part. Anyway, when it comes to building this, you're gonna need some interesting tools to get everything shaped correctly. And the first tool that I recommend is a good pair of nippers. These right here are fantastic for cutting out all of our pieces. The only thing is, you need to make sure that you get as close as you possibly can to the part before you cut them. The reason for that is you don't want to have any leftover metal on your part, because if you do, it can get in the way or even get stuck and be kind of sharp. So just really make sure that you get really close to the piece before you cut it. Normally, you could use something like a rasp to kind of actually make everything nice and smooth, but being that this metal is kind of thin, I wouldn't recommend using that here. Next up, we need to be able to secure our tabs and of course shape some of our pieces. And the best tools for that are a good pair of pliers and a tab bending tool. The pliers are great for shaping some of our pieces and of course grabbing our tabs and twisting them and forming them, while the tab bending tool here is great for, well, bending tabs, a tab bending tool. But it's also really good for being able to bend some of our pieces around to get a really nice cylinder shape, kind of a really cool piece. And finally, the last tool I'm going to recommend is a dapping punch, or a marker of similar shape and size. This is great for taking some of our pieces and bending it over to get a really nice cylinder shape similar to our tab bending tool. This is great though because it comes in several different sizes, allowing us to get that proper shaping of the center engine there. Yeah, that's an interesting piece, and trying to get it shaped just right is kind of hard, but having a tool like this makes it so much easier. Now, these are just our suggestions, and you really don't need anything but a good pair of nippers and pliers to be able to get this built. But of course, having these extra tools will make everything a lot easier for you. All right, now let's get back to building this Polar Steel. And boom, there we have it. The Polar Steel SC in all of its glory. Yes, this build was a lot of fun to put together, and quite quick too, being just under an hour and a half in total. There were some mistakes here. I definitely could have attached the wheels a little bit better, and also the tabs here just at the back of this little engine. And the only reason why they're not attached better is because I didn't look ahead of the instructions. Yes, again, the instructions are kind of oversimplified, and when we're used to more detailed instructions, it can be an interesting change. I do think, though, that these builds are easy enough for anybody who's looking to get into the hobby to pick up and try out for themselves, or to give these away as gifts. I think that they are a perfect kind of style because they're so easy and they really do look nice. They remind me of some of the older models that I've built in my collection, and being that these ones really have under 50 pieces, I mean, I think some of the other ones maybe have I think the most like 60 pieces. This is a really interesting line from Metal Time, and I think a lot of you out there, if you give them a try, are really gonna like them too. All right, Groovers, that brings to the end of our episode. I had a really good time building the Polar Steel SE with you, and if you guys had a good time, don't forget to press that like button. For more videos like this, hit subscribe as well, as we got all kinds of really cool content coming on in the future, and I would love to have you there. Thank you so much to Metal Time for sending me the Polar Steel SE to review. These guys are really awesome to work with. They don't pay for me to review any of these. They're all of my own opinions. They don't even get to see the video before I put it out, but they are truly awesome to work with and are only looking to make the hobby better, and I want to support companies like that. Until next time, keep building. All right, now it's time to go learn how to do one of these trains. And you gotta join the collection. There's quite a bit of you.